Hey everyone,
Hello.
welcome to the Hume podcast, Roles and Lols. For those of you who don't know Hume, we're a recruitment training business based in Australia, and to date we have trained thousands of recruiters across Oz, New Zealand and a bit of Europe.
This is going to be a 10-minute quick tips and tricks with hopefully some laughs along the way for agency recruiters.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoy, and if you ever have any topics you'd like us to cover in the poddy, please shout out. Otherwise, you'll see us every week on a Friday for 10-minute episodes. Hopefully you enjoy.
See ya.
Hi.
Welcome back to the
This
poddy.
is the first time we've done a podcast in here for a while, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
No, it's normally out in the cabin in the woods.
Yeah, well, one of us is overseas.
Well,
Yeah,
we're back.
together.
Okay, so what we wanted to chat about today, and some of you may have noticed this, is somewhat new consultants. And when I say new consultant, I'm talking anyone with less than 3 years experience, not just people that have just entered in their first few months. So relatively newish consultants leaving our industry or asking us, what else is out there? Do you think we should look elsewhere?
Am I built for this environment?
Yeah.
Because some of us who have been doing this for 10 years or like you, way longer. We've done a few cycles of when things are booming, it's really good. We've hit our first storm and it feels really shit, but we can see the light at the end of the tunnel and we're up again. And we're down, and so we can expect it, and maybe we become numb to the process sometimes, but we can also, we know how the process works, and you don't get that until you become a seasoned recruiter. However, people that have been in recruitment for a couple of years, maybe this is the first downturn that you're experiencing, and rightly so, you will question, should I stay?
Or should I go now? Should I go? A few things I would say on that. I think just over time, you don't become numb to it. What happens is you don't ride the highs too high, which means you don't feel the lows too low. But in your last few years, you can tend to go, oh my God, I've mastered it. It's amazing. We're flying, making so much money. And you enjoy the highs too much, thinking they're going to last forever. But just over time, once you see the fluctuations, you go, okay, yeah, we're on a high, but it's not going to last forever. It will just go taper off at some stage and then we'll be up again. So you don't ride the highs too much and you don't ride the lows too much. So you kind of just stay here, which is a good place to be. Unfortunately, that does come with experience. Second to that, I was reading a book yesterday. Yes, I read. I'm very intelligent. Yeah, I do.
You do it.
I do know how to read.
You do it a lot.
But one of the things that they mentioned, and it was like a Zen book, I don't know, regardless, but they were talking about this Japanese, I think it's a water shoot, but it lays and grows underground for 4 years. That 4 years, you can't even see it growing. You have to water it because you know it should be growing underneath, but it takes 4 years to come out to the surface. And then in a matter of 30 days, it grows by 20-something feet in 30 days. But it spent 4 years doing all this little growing, and then it breaks through. And in 30 days, it's ginormous. And as soon as I read that, I thought, that's recruitment. The first few years, regardless of whether you've had success or not, it's just a little bit, you're plugging away, and you're doing all this hard work, and the learning curve is so steep. You're building your network, which is actually just what your work in this market is. Who do you know? Can you deploy them? Can you engage with them? It's your network. And that's what takes time, is building these connections and doing it in the same space, ideally with the same business. So there's consistency. And then 4 years on, much like the Japanese shoot, honestly, that's where it gets good, because you've built your network. You know who to contact. They've already heard from you before. And so my advice to people doing this job in the first under 4 years, it's going to be difficult, but nothing good comes for free. And that's the trade-off.
It's going to make your hard, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's going to suck sometimes. So your boss might not have told you that, but you know what? This job is going to fucking suck sometimes. And that's the trade-off because the rewards are so great. And for every reaction, there's a reaction. For every action, there's a reaction. So nothing comes for free. And the cost of this is you have to ride these horrible waves for the first few years and just get used to them and make peace with them in your mindset, know that it's going to happen and that your trade-off is in 4 or 5 years. When you do pick up roles, you already know who to contact. You've done the hard yards. You know X, Y, Z. You know they will refer you business. You know which clients hire. You know which clients are good. You know how to converse with them. You know enough about the industry. The job gets good at that 4 or 5 year mark, in my experience. Personally,
over time it gets easier. Year 1 is really hard, for sure, the hardest. Year 2, you start getting some tractions, you start having a few aha moments, like, okay, this is working, you've got a bit of confidence, but you still don't have a lot of the knowledge set up. And when you've got kind of things that you can control and things that you can't control, such as inflation rates that are looming around us, it impacts that. And so getting to understand how you operate through the years of your career will change. And, you know, we can sit here, both of us now, we've gone through, 3 or 4? Like cycles of ascension. Yes, you.
I'm not that old. I'm 22. That's my best recession.
But, like you said, that we don't ride the highs, and when the lows are there, we're saying it's all good, like it comes tomorrow. We know how this works now. Pipeline is always going to be at the forefront of our mind, whether it is booming, and that's where, you know, a lot of people in their first couple of years, when it's going really well, then it's coming in and it's present, and you're enjoying it, and rightly so. But you don't have that when it's down. So someone that's been in recruitment for a long time and has a stable desk, they will they'll build the pipeline even when it is good. They'll always be looking 3, 4, 6 months ahead, and it just honestly takes time.
Okay, so question: if someone's sitting there, should I stay? You're dead. Should I stay or should I go? My advice to you would be:
run for the hills. You can.
Honestly. But no, are you thinking of leaving for the right reasons?
Yeah.
If your reason is, this is hard, when is it going to come back?
I liked it better last year.
You know what? If that's your reason, and you genuinely believe you cannot sustain another period like this in your career, one, I'd say you will mature by between this time and the next downturn happens. You'll mature, so you'll be a different person. So basing a future decision based on who you are now is not smart. 2, every job is hard.
Yeah.
But you get to pick your hard. And in recruitment, and I challenge anyone listening to this, tell me another job you could do with no qualifications whatsoever, and in year 4 or 5, you could be taking home 250, 300k. Tell me a single job. Because I know, given my experience, I'm outperforming lawyers, senior partner lawyers, I'm outperforming. I don't know how any other industry would compete with this, because I don't have a qualification. I've just been doing this long enough, and I've stayed the course. And it is so lucrative, but lucrative does not come for free. The trade-off is the hard yards at the start and just sticking with it. That's what you get paid for, is building that network. And forget about other people. Far too often we see people in their first few years going, I just suck at this. It's not for me because blah, blah, blah over there is billing. And I'm like, you're not that person. You're going to get there a very different way. You're going to get there differently to how I got there. But you're very individual. It requires perseverance and accepting and reflecting. But sometimes the right decision is for you to actually leave. And if you sit down and go, what is the crux of this job? It's engaging with people. It's consistency. You have to be consistent in this job, otherwise it will never work for you. So if you hate doing the same thing again and again and again, honestly, it's probably not the job for you, because you're going to have to do that. You're just going to have to do that. That's, again, part of the trade-off. if you really don't like putting yourself out there and talking to people, and I'm not talking sales, if you don't like talking and engaging with people on the phone, it's not the job for you. Sorry, but it just honestly isn't. So I'd say those would be the two main reasons. If you genuinely don't enjoy those two things or don't feel capable of doing those things ever.
Mm-hmm. I would say as well, you need to know what your motivators are. And for me, being around people, I need to be around people. When we went to COVID times and we had to work at home and I was running my own desk, I was like that. I don't want to do that. And so for me, recruitment is the energy and the buzz around, communicating, talking, meeting, being around my team. That was a motivator for me. Being a part of someone's career and being able to advise them and go beyond the transactional part, massive motivator for me. I could say a million things that I dislike about recruitment, but I love it. I've always loved it. I don't think I'll ever step away from it.
Oh, no, babe. You're too far in. No one else would have you.
She can't.
What else would you do? You're stuck. Don't be like Lucy.
I don't have an option. No, I was going to ask you, because we've had these conversations before, obviously, even when we were in our younger recruitment days, we would have had our own moments of being like, is this what I want to do? Should I leave? Like, is there something else? What was the thing that got you through, and what would you tell your younger recruiter self now?
So the reasons why for year one, I was constantly like, this isn't for me. I hate BD, that this is the worst. I'm not good at it, blah, 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 blah. I applied to quite a few real estate roles. So I thought, surely that's easier. But when I reflected on it, I'm like, I'm going to have to get good at BD. Not for the sake of recruitment or anything, but everyone needs a good BD skill, because you're having to sell yourself in a lot of different situations. But when you're getting a partner, sorry, but that's the sales process. It sounds really horrible.
Wanting LinkedIn posts. Recruitment is like dating.
No, but like BD is such a valuable skill in your whole entire life. You can influence a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just the world opens up to you if you're able to engage with people well. And that's essentially what I would call business development. You're able to engage with people really well, and you're comfortable doing it. And when I reflected on the job that I was offered at the estate agency, I was like, oh, I'm still going to have to do BD. It's just a different type of BD. I'm going to deal with internal people from this 5,000 person real estate agency. I'm like, oh, and they don't get paid to hone those skills. Whereas recruitment, I'm still having to do that, but I at least get paid when I start billing. So it just didn't make sense to me. And ever since then, when I really sat back and I was like, every job is going to require some form of BD. Maybe not in the same extremities as recruitment does, but you're still having to sell yourself internally, prove your skills, prove your worth, and climb through the ladder. And I, like most recruiters, I think, and salespeople, we don't usually have a lot of patience, let's be honest. I didn't want a 30-year career where I'm slowly climbing up a 500-person organisation where I'm like, okay, I'm this. And in 4 years, I might get a 2% bump, and that's exciting to me. I was like, no, I'm in this of like all or nothing. I want everything right now.
Yeah.
And recruitment allows you to do that. Traditional careers are much harder to climb the ladder on.
You've got to be hungry, don't you? Like with recruitment, there has to be that.
I want it all now.
I want it all now. This is why I was like, certain sports I don't like because they took too long. Golf, playing pool, bowls, not for me. Get me on a netball court and the elbows are out,
Stay the course. I would suggest do not make a decision on leaving this industry based on the market condition.
Yeah, I would.
Because you'll become more resilient staying through it, and it will make you a better recruiter. It 100% will. Stay the course. It will pay off if you stay in this career.
Isn't that so funny? We were just saying that, like, we aren't patient people, but to stay in recruitment, you have to be patient.
Yes.
Oh, what a conundrum. You're welcome.
So we haven't provided any answers or valuable advice.
No, I agree. Yeah, I would say it's a good 2-3 years minimum before you can make an assessment if this is the right career for you.
But amazing once you do. Once you break through. Like that Japanese shoes. I keep on referring back to it. Honestly, it's such a good visual. 4 years
You
this
and
thing.
your book you read.
4 years it just slowly grows underneath.
And you know
Not
what
even
that
doing
requires?
anything.
Patience. Wandering for 4 years.
Yeah.
Patience.
But then when it comes, it's going gangbusters. Anyway, we'll leave you with that.
Profound.
See you next week, everyone. Hopefully that helps.
See you.